Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Hit and Run Musical Behind the Music. I'm Phil Teasdale, and as such, I have a long history in musical of America. Take a look behind me. This is my own home theater, and I am up here many times during the week singing songs and coming up with patter that would stun anyone. Now, when you think of some things that are extraordinarily American and only American, what are some things that you think of? I know I like to think of uh, rodeo clowns, and I like to think that there is a Jiffy Lube on every corner in America too. And I also want to point out with absolutely heartfelt affection that the American musical has no peer anywhere in the world. And tonight, as a special treat here on our show, we are going to meet some of the actors and the director from the recent production of the show Monopoly. And in this case, the entire title was done in uppercase. And that means it's a very, very, very good show. We're going to be talking to some of these folks about the heartbreak, about the heartfelt love moments that might have happened in any of these things, and what really goes on behind the production of a musical of this caliber. For tonight, I would like to first talk to one of the primary actors. In fact, I'm going to go call him the main actor in this show, Rodney Tullington. Rodney, how are you tonight?
Hi,
There you
Phil.
are, here in your cornfield.
Yes. I'm reaching out to you today from. This is actually my family's farm, and I just thought, what better place to connect with myself when I'm connecting with you, where I used to play when I was growing up.
How wonderful. So, Rodney, when you were first approached by the director, you were the original actor in this film.
That's
And
correct.
at one point, he wanted you to play the top hat. And I do
Yes.
understand that there was an awful lot of excitement, but that you had another token in mind.
That is very true, Phil. Yes, I was originally approached about playing the top hat, and I thought, well, that's very flattering, and I wanted to take it, but I honestly I felt that I was better suited, no pun intended, for the shoe, because
Ah,
as you can see, I come from a humble upbringing, and I felt like a top hat was just, it felt a little too, it felt a little too, what's the, it felt a too,
hoity
it
toity.
felt like $10 word for me.
Ah, yes. Well, you are obviously an actor of the earth, and that's what kind of feeling you brought to that show. I just want to know about that one episode that happened on opening night. As that curtain opened, technical things happen on those opening nights, and I was wondering if you could just give us a quick synopsis of what happened and how it felt.
Yes. Wow. Uh, I had actually kind of blocked part of that from my memory. It was, initially it was traumatic, but eventually I learned to take it in stride. Being on a big stage, I'd come out on stage ready to sing my first number, and all of a sudden, all of the stage lights came up, and all of the sound dropped out, and I was left there with what we call a full wash of lights on the stage. Had no sound. Everyone was confused. I remember hearing the tech folks, like they were shuffling around on the sides trying to figure out what was going on, and I was left there to figure out what to do, and what could I do, but sing.
I think that's how musicals actually work. Rodney, I'm going to just punch you up real quick, and I would certainly like you to sing that song that you sang that very night. And to me, it is a seminal song, and it embodies what this play was about and why it affects America and so many other people still to this very day. Would you please sing "Passing Go" for us?
Yes, pass and go. I have to say, I love this song. I will carry it with me in my heart always, and it's an honor to sing that for you, Phil. Thank you.
Please take it away, Rodney.
You have it. Look at this. Look at this big world. Look at this great big piece of land. What should I do? Should I run? Should I walk? Should I scurry? Should I go to and fro? Should I hold myself back? No, I think I'm gonna pass go. I know I could end up in jail, or I could end up on top, but I know that my future can rise as soon as it can drop. Fortunes and fame, property, all in the mix. I could end up on Park Place, or I could end up in the sticks. I don't know where I will land, but I know just so I will take my chances where I fall. I know I will pass go. I know I will end up somewhere, but I will pass go. $200 right in my pocket if I just pass go.
Rodney, that was just the sweetest thing. And I love how your character starts out as a country bumpkin and ends up, well, how can I just put this without making too much of a spoiler? Park Place comes into play very much in this play.
That's true. And don't forget Broadway too. You have to have both.
Good point. Yes, you got that one. Rodney, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
It has been a pleasure. Please do stick around for a while if you would. Thank you. Well, that was an exciting song for all of us, I'm sure. Now, every leading man has a leading lady, and we have a leading lady who has a long, illustrious career in American musicals. She's a star of stage, of screen, and a few mugshots too, now that I shouldn't probably have brought that up, but everyone knows about her problems. Vanessa, are you there?
Yes. Hello, Phil. How are you?
Vanessa, you look just stunning. And what you've done with that living room is amazing.
Oh, thank you, you old flirt. Yes, just spending some time back home with my family, similar to Rodney, taking a break, taking a little bit of a breather, some time for myself to recover after the run of Monopoly.
Yes, it was a strenuous run. I know that.
Yes.
I just want to ask you if you would. I think the folks at home would be quite fascinated to see what it's like to be a professional actor and a professional singer, because I know that you have a particular warm-up drill that you like to do, and that has been, to tell you the truth, I've not even been able to figure out what the hell it is you're saying. Could you give that to us?
Oh, of course. It's just one that I've known since I was a small child. It goes, to sit in solemn silence on a dull, dark dock, in a pestilential prison with a lifelong lock, awaiting the sensation of a short, sharp shock from a cheap and chippy chopper on a big black block.
That's scary. I'm not sure why, but it's just so, it's your delivery. That's what it is.
Thank you.
That's
Yes, I really try to bring to mind the darkness, the dankness, the fear you would feel while in this horrible, horrible place.
Yes.
Thank you. It means so much to me to know that you felt that.
I did. I very much did. Vanessa, I know that every actor and every show has auditions. And I know that the audition process for you in this show did present some obstacles and some, perhaps I can just say, this is where the heartbreak comes in. Could you give us just a brief overview of that situation.
Yes, of course. It still sits here in my heart. I still feel this. I went with my my life partner. We went together. He and I had been together in every show we've ever done together. Every single show was always him and me, him and me. And unfortunately, right as we were crossing the street to go to our audition, a
That-
taxi hit him.
no, no, I, I don't want you to have to relive it, but I think it's a testament to your ability as an actor to actually, as he lay bleeding in the street, you went in and sang your side. Isn't that amazing?
He always said to me, it was one of the last things he said. I was like, darling, I have to go. I have to go make this audition. And he laid there bleeding and looked up at me and he said, the show must go on.
Oh,
He said that was the last thing he actually ever said. I ran off to get to the audition and he never spoke again.
Broadway, cruel and kind all at the same time. I'm sorry, Vanessa. I shouldn't have asked you, but
No, it's
I think
okay, Phil. It's okay. It's part of who I am, and I really tried to bring that trauma into the show with me to make my performance even stronger.
yes. And talking about strength, I think one of the songs that established your character as a woman who had the can-do and the moxie and the will go on and the go-getter, there's no song at all like the B&O Railroad in that play. And I would love it if you would please grace our show this evening by giving us your most beautiful rendition of B&O Railroad.
Of course,
Can you please? Thank
definitely.
you,
It was
dear.
it's one of my favorite songs I've ever performed in any show, and I dedicate it to my poor dead husband. Riding the rails across the fields and seeing you. Riding the rails and coming home to you. It's been so long since I've seen your smile. I've missed you so, my love. It's been too long a while. Riding the B&O Railway, coming home to you. Riding the B&O Railway to you. I've missed you, my love, but I've seen the world small and large. Saw skyscrapers and really learned who was in charge. Riding the B&O Railway, coming home to you. Riding the B&O Railway, taking in of you, taking in of you, coming home to you.
Oh, touching, touching. Your voice is as clear as a crystal bell on a clear night with a nightingale attached to it. Thank you so very much, Vanessa,
Thank you
dear.
so much, Phil, for having me come on and sharing my story.
Absolutely. We had to have you. You were the linchpin in many ways.
Thank you. Thank you.
Be well, my dear. Ah, ah, so much emotion so early on in this show. I think it's important to remember that this show was brought to the stage by a man who has spent years putting on multiple musicals before. He did Mutt and Jeff back in the 1940s, a ramping, rousing tale of bums on the Bowery. He did Cats and Dogs early in the 60s, and that was never seen actually on Broadway, and the off-Broadway production was also sadly missed. In the 70s, he didn't do Streetcar of Desire, he did the Monorail of Desire, and that one took off, and people really did like that one. And then when this chance came around to do Monopoly, he grabbed it. He grabbed it by the dice and shook them carefully and rolled doubles the whole way through. Sidney Smashwell, the famous director of this show. Sidney, there you are. You look great in that jacket, my friend.
Well, thank you, Phil. It's so good to be with you to talk about my illustrious career. It's been quite a ride, if I may say so myself.
You may say so, sir, because it was your life. I see that in the background. Is that Hawaii or is that your Bahama home?
Well, this is actually my Cayman Islands home. I recently acquired it because I thought Hawaii. It's so far, and well, Caymans are just a little bit closer, and I can get there on a moment's notice.
Indeed, I understand. And this is just proof that really, if you really think about it, the American musical has kept rich people rich for years. Isn't that true, Sidney?
It most certainly has. It's one of the best jobs that you can have because, well, you maybe spend a few hours, a few days working on something, and you tell somebody, oh, be bigger, emote more, and then they do that. And then you walk away, and the show runs for years. And every week, you get a 6-digit check in the mail.
Well, Sidney, it's interesting that you'd be talking about 6-digit checks because I can't help but point out that at one point, very near the beginning of production, Parker Brothers raised their ugly head into your show, Monopoly. Can you tell us the outcome of that entire unfortunate legal tussle?
Well, years and years ago, I knew Stanley Parker. I mean, we go way back, and I had some dirt on him. But anyway, so we announced that we're going to do this show, and the Parker brothers come and say, oh, well, you haven't talked to us about it. And I said, we don't need to talk to you. I knew Sidney Parker. And they said, well, if you knew Sidney Parker, that doesn't mean a thing. And I said, well, let me show you what dirt I have on your esteemed founder. And then they changed their minds.
I know that you are legally constrained to not spill that dirt, but is there any way you can let a little bit of it come from underneath the rug where it was swept?
Well, let's. I'm not going to say anything, mind you. I cannot say a thing. However, I will say that in the 30s, Sidney had a little secret, and that little secret. I've said too much.
Oh, yes, you did. I knew that Sidney liked to make funny symbols with his fingers too.
Oh, he certainly did.
Anyone
He did. Well, he had quite shall we say, quite an array of people helping him in his little enterprise.
I see. Well, the 30s were a wild time, and unfortunately for the Parker brothers, and happily for you, this show went off mostly without a hitch.
Oh, it was wonderful. Like I said, I just spent a week or so in rehearsals, dress rehearsals, and then I just walked away. Good work if you can get it, if you know what I mean.
I do want to just point out that Rodney and Vanessa were here earlier. And,
Rodney and Vanessa.
Yes. I know that there was a song. This is apocryphal, and I don't want to bring it up if if it's uncomfortable for you, but that you had a special song that had Rodney singing to Vanessa. You took it out of the show. Why did you take out what was ostensibly a tender love song out of such a show?
Well, you see, Monopoly is about life. And you see, in life, people they fall in love, they fall out of love. And in the arc of the story of Monopoly, well, Rodney had fallen out of love with Vanessa. And I felt that this song then became inappropriate for the emotional arc of this particular story. So we had to pull it. It was really, it was a travesty, but the thing was we had an embarrassment of riches, of wonderful, wonderful music. So losing one song was tragic, but in the grand scheme of things, it made that emotional journey so much stronger.
Well, I think that's the director's prerogative to pick and choose as he wishes. But I think, Sydney, that our viewers tonight would really like to hear that song. They would like to hear that song that you axed from the show and let them see for themselves that they liked it. And I think the title was just absolutely wonderful with Rodney singing to Vanessa, "Won't you be my community chest?" And
Won't you be my yes? Yes. Now here's the thing. Now I will warn you, Phil. I'm no professional singer, but I do enjoy the karaoke from time to time. So if your audience will just have to bear with me because I cannot sing like Rodney or Vanessa, but since you asked and you are a very near and dear friend, a good friend, a friend of the American theater, how can I say no?
You can't. And so, Sydney, I'm going to have you fire up your karaoke machine and bless us with "Won't You Be My Community Chest?"
I've got these cards, a whole stack of them. I keep in my desk. From time to time, I'll grab and read the best. There's lots of crazy things written on these cards, things I have to do. Sometimes it's a bit of a prize or award like a beauty prize. And when you get these cards, you'll feel like you're the best. And when you get these cards, be my community chest. When you go round the board, it's a circle of life. You start out low, you go up higher, and you get better. If you go all the way around, your life is complete. And you will find it best if you're my community chest. If you're my community chest. If you're my community chest.
Well, Sydney, unquestionably, you're a director, and don't give up that director job because I'm pretty sure no one's going to be calling you from the Met Opera.
Oh, Phil, you're such a kidder. But thank you for having me on your show. I've been a big fan for years and years.
Well, thank you so much, Sydney, for your time. Take care of yourself out there on the Caymans or wherever you end up next.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this brings to end, sadly, the close of tonight's Behind the Musical show. We looked at the amazing hit, Monopoly. And I specifically want to thank our two actors, Vanessa Haberdasher and Rodney Tullington, for joining us tonight and sharing their stories, their hopes, their dreams, and in one case, their very sadnesses. And Sydney Smashwell, the amazing director who was able to take what looks like an ordinary board game and turn it into a really exemplary musical. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Phil Teasdale, and I've had a great time enjoying this time with you. Please remember, watch a musical this week and then sing along with it the next week. Good night.